He comes in and now it's London on the back foot. Somehow the Boston Uprising have turned this around. Bit by bit they stalled out. They've done it! Unbelievable! How do you turn that kind of round around? What is this match? The Boston Uprising snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. Even they can't believe it, man.
Up next, we got the Boston Uprising going up against the London Spitfire. Now, the Boston Uprising, they're undefeated so far this stage, sitting at 4-0. They are on fire, and they show no signs of slowing down. The London Spitfire, they're just a mere shadow of their Stage 1 championship selves, as they're sitting at 1-3. So they really need this victory today. And here's another cool fun fact. At the top of the season, back in Stage 1, the London Spitfire were undefeated all the way up until they ran into the Boston Uprising, the team they're facing off against today. So there's maybe a little bit of salt going into this matchup. It's definitely a meaty one. So yo, Uprising fans, Spitfire fans, make some noise. And let's go ahead and get into this matchup with Golden Boy and the crew at the desk.
Thank you so much, Malik. It's the second match of the night, and this should be, as one of my favorite announcers, good old JR says, a slobber knocker. I'm your host, Golden Boy. And I'm pumped for this one.
This game is going to be absolutely spicy. It's going to be a great one. London going down a little bit. Boston looking so strong right now. This is perfect stuff.
And then it also helps when you have guys like Striker popping off, making plays happen.
I mean, Striker, before the season, I didn't think we'd talk about him as one of the best tracers in the league. But going into this matchup, he took down Cybiolvi, right? You have to start talking about Striker as one of the best, if not the best tracer in the league. He was absolutely popping off and playing sort of a man-marking role. He shut down Cybiolvi, but he was also doing work against the tanks. So just this very proactive tracer. It's not really what we see from tracers. Usually I'll be sliding in the background, picking up the supports, but Striker was doing it all.
And Striker has such a phenomenal aim. His mechanical skill is so great that he can play a huge range of styles to big effect.
London, though, they have kind of hit a little bit of a slump. And this is crazy considering that this team was at the top of the world at the beginning of the Overwatch League. This was a team that everyone was talking about. I mean, these are Stage 1 champions.
They are. They're the Stage 1 champions, but they've been slumping for quite a while now. And they failed to find a real identity for the team, I think. They fell to Philadelphia Fusion in the Stage 2 finals. Now it looks like they might not even make the Stage 3 finals at all. They have had a rough time of it, I think. They're struggling to get back to those strengths. Profit playing a huge range of heroes and Birdring slumping a little bit. But when you get the guys on fire, Profit, Gesture, these guys are some of the best in the world.
Yeah, and if you look at a team like Houston Outlaws, they struggle with roles. London Spitfire, they struggle with members. Who are we going to use? How are we going to use our members? They usually field like about 10, 11 players per match.
How can you ever get a good roster? Yeah.
Exactly. And
Diving over to the maps, though, the maps that are going to be played here today. Some interesting statistics for both of these teams, Josh, because you see here you have Boston undefeated on Anubis, London undefeated on Numbani, Boston looking good on Control.
Yep.
A lot of things here.
A really important map pool that we've got here today. Boston Uprising undefeated on both assault maps that are being played in Stage 3. A credit to their coaching staff, actually. They are playing those maps phenomenally well, but they'll find it difficult to go 2-0 at the half. I think we're looking at a Game 5 here, and then when you look at Oasis, look at that percentage win rate for London Spitfire at the bottom. Tiebreak on Oasis, they've only won that once the entire season. So that's leaning things towards the Boston Uprising fairly heavily, despite the fact that Spitfire have an unbeaten map in the pool.
All right.
Crazy stuff.
So, this is going to be a crazy match. We've been saying it nonstop, and these are the facts. So we got to go with some predictions here.
sorry, Boston is going to win this matchup. I believe in the Boston Uprising. They've shown with mistakes how good they are with these dives. Just a sync between Striker, Gamsu, and mistakes. Even if he plays the Sombra or the Genji, I just believe in the Boston man.
Yep, I'm following the map statistics as well. It looks like Boston are favored on Anubis and both of the Control maps. I gotta go with Boston here. I think they're gonna go 5-0 and look great for finishing, maybe even at the top of the table here.
All right, gentlemen. Well, this is gonna be a great matchup. It's got that big fight feel, and with a big fight feel, you gotta get some big fight casters. Let's go ahead, welcome you casters, the one and only Uber and Mr. X.
Let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. Come on.
Big
they brought us in.
All right.
Yeah, they brought us in as well. I don't really think we need to inject any hype into the arena. It's kind of already there, but we're going to double down on it anyway. Matt.
You know, Boston has been a great story here in Stage 3 thus far.
I mean, yeah, after the removal of Dreamcasper from the lineup, we see mistakes coming in. You know, their first showing, of course, was that dominant victory, or not dominant, but an incredibly close victory over the NYXL. And now, I think since then, we've started to see that maybe, you know, mistakes might not be that same big game player that his predecessor was.
I know when Boston first came in, I was like, oh, why don't they try, and run mistakes some more on Tracer? Striker quickly put that one to bed, as Striker, one of the best Tracers in the league. Mistakes play Widowmaker at the start of the game.
Okay, so switch up there. Not terrible. It's going to force Hurek to play on this platform and not the back pillar, because obviously he doesn't really want to take like an even 50-50. Mistake switches back off, so he's actually gone back to the Genji. With Hurek playing on this lower ground, yeah, I like this. Hurek backs up. Now with no Widow on the attacking side, Hurek's probably not so worried about getting jumped on.
Get a D-Mech on the note already. That's Prophet. Gesture eliminating him. Neko will fall. As you see, they're trying to push this right-hand side.
You're dreaming, Kellex!
This is not going to work against the Junkrat. A very small choke you're trying to work into.
Right now, Hurek's just been a good deterrent. You can see now, in a good position just to try and pound down some of these tanks. The bubble thrown in by Gesture didn't last very long. However, Gamsu gets picked off now. Hurek's able to work his way around the outside, and this is going to be the Riptire ring. Taken down, though. Kind of got a little bit snarled up on the way through.
Yeah, I think he wanted to go up and over the sign and then come down, but just couldn't get it up and over, as it'll be Striker who takes his Hagapun, so you do lose your Zenyatta here. Closer, getting very close to Valkyrie. See if he can get a res. He actually dies at the hands of Gamsu, so we don't see it on screen here. Watch Hurek just trying to land some of these shots. With both supports down for London. It's a big break for Boston.
Good rotation from Hurek now on a lot of players being vulnerable on the point. He finds Note, but there's still a couple more from Boston. And yes, Gamsu just sort of waddles on out. Full HP at the Winston, and Hurek couldn't do a damn thing about it. Healing as Zenyatta would provide. Striker's been brought back into the fight, so it looks like Boston do want to work around this now they've committed the Resurrect. Still playing passively. It's another Riptide that doesn't quite work out for Prophet. That's 2 from 2 that have fizzled. And the Uprising now can walk up to the point and start to contest once more.
Yeah, Boston may try and use the Dragon Blade to force out Transcendence, and they're going to use their own Transcendence as well. They're going to try and push all the way on through to the corner. Not going to get anything with it. It's going to be Hurek who connects with the Pulse One. Now it's actually onto Note, and then it hits Kellex.
A gesture there. Does finally fall to Striker. But Boston missed that key window of having a Dragon Blade when London didn't have that Transcendence by losing Striker. He got picked off early. An undefeated record on the Temple of Anubis for Boston so far. That is quite an incredible stat to have at this stage of the season. But again, they're going to be playing into some nasty stuff here, man. Pulse Bomb there for Hurek. See, having switched off the Widowmaker prior. Gamsu gets caught up a little bit there. Perhaps the defense matrix just couldn't be stretched far enough by Note to keep Gamsu alive. At least the trade most times with that.
It'll be Valkyrie that opens things up here for Boston, and London just kind of backs up into the corner. Boston not able to make any progress on the point.
A Striker doesn't do much of that Pulse Bomb as well. You saw it was on Prophet's screen. He just steps forward and he ignores it. Doesn't even turn around to look. Self-destruct's thrown into the back corner. That does force Prophet to play in the little moats, which causes him to be a little bit vulnerable. Now Mistake's going to go and see if he can make a couple more happy little accidents. Dragon Blade's out. Fury's down after getting D-Mech. Oh, that's a big Riptire though. Third time lucky indeed. Prophet removes Kellex and Striker from the mix, and that will be another wash.
As soon as the Dragon Blade is popped, Prophet uses Riptire. You can see, springs it right around the corner. Not worried about much. See both supports and Striker all the way in that background.
The note here is he advances to the point. So Mistakes has already picked off first. Gesture's done very well at getting first picks in a lot of these fights by being fearless and hitting that backline rather fast.
We see a lot of Tracers have trouble dealing with Striker. Hurek's battled him pretty close in the times that we've seen him. Because the Pulse Bomb not going to connect with anything. Striker's Pulse Bomb connects on a Gesture. That's huge. You're going to see Transcendence used by London as Closer tries to cross through the point. Not going to last very long.
That's a big risk that Closer takes. He knows he'll probably get a chance to come back to the point. He might have to pop a Valkyrie to get there, though. Gesture kind of being blocked off. Note was hoping to body block him and knock him back with a Diva boot. Doesn't prevent him from getting to the point. And now Note's going to go the self-destruct. Hoping to stay alive, and he should be fine here. He's not suffering any scrutiny, so he gets his mech back for free. Now the Uprising almost have taken the entire point after not having touched it at all, but they've got to follow up. The Dragon Blade from Mistakes is probably a good start, and Hagapun's down in the backline. Another Prophet Riptire goes the way of the Weary, and Prophet follows himself. Gamsu's Primal Rage cleans up the Junkrat. Cheeky Resurrect. And no, not going to be the case. Another failed attempt with Closer to bring someone back into the fight, but Note has returned. The Boston Uprising take the foot off the gas for a moment.
You have Prophet switch over to May for a lot of control on the point.
Prophet low on health at the moment, but the Transcendence has been brought onto the point. Both teams going to use it now, so this is a bit awkward. Neither team trying to use key cooldowns during that period of time, but now it's go time. Mistakes trying to pressure Fury down on the point there. Note's already found Gesture, so already a key centerpiece. A player on London Spitfire has been taken out. And you can see Prophet's been forced into an ice block there, and now he'll be surrounded. Not fun for him. There's no real escape at all. Boston Uprising gets set up on the point. They're regaining that capture progress pretty quickly. Gesture comes in on the Doomfist. Gets the D-suit on Note, who goes for the self-destruct, but that's it. The Boston Uprising take the point. to. The mistakes, definitely feeling the heat.
Matt, pretty quick. Very good team here on Temple of Anubis. It's going to be a lot of pressure on defense here, especially on point A. If Mistakes is going to play that Widowmaker, if London decides to play a Widow of their own, or if they decide to dive on it. See London coming out with a dive right now. I expect them to roll with this. As soon as they see the Widowmaker, they're going to be pretty happy they were able to best comp off the round.
All right. All eyes are on Mistakes as Widowmaker here. And he will be needing to use that grappling hook, likely to back away to the higher ground behind if that dive comes in.
Position. But they've given up a lot of real estate on the map here to London.
Now, everyone diving in though, and you can see Mistakes is forced to drop down to the low ground. This allows the London Spitfire onto the point itself. And Mistakes could even actually go to the the very opening arches and actually have a good line of sight over the point right now. It'd be hard for anyone to really access it except for the tanks and Genji. He drops onto the point there. He can't see what's going on and he can't help Striker in his battle against Fury. So the London Spitfire can take a breath now and try and set up, but they've allowed Striker to be brought back into the fight by Kellex.
Yeah, they res Striker.
Oh, that's big.
Oh, okay, closer on the flank here as Lucio. You're not going to be able to res this up. Striker does have a Riptire though. You're going to use the Riptire. London going to have to split off. So, oh, this is a nice Riptire. So he sees players going to the point. He knows the supports are back all the way out. He's able to get one, but Prophet on the point doing work.
Yeah, he's going absolutely hand. Kellex went down first and the Striker was still coming out of his trance where he mind controlled his own tires. So relatively easy pickup for him there as well. The London Spitfire break through.
The Widowmaker didn't really make much of an impact there on offense. You take a look, Prophet's POVs. These are pretty easy kills for Prophet on the Genji, right? Coming on that flank, you really get the deflex right in Striker's face. Let's see how London decides to play this, Mitch. You're going to use Sound Barrier. That'll force out Valkyrie. Can they force out Transcendence? They do. They get the Transcendence out of Neko, so now you'll be able to use his blade.
The Striker may have gone down to the pulse bomb of Hurek. Prophet's still alive somehow. Now he's looking, he's found Mistakes. He can't quite get away. No blinks were available. Note just trying to keep a foot on the point itself because he knows the Uprising aren't in a position to commit fully to this. He's trying to avoid Prophet, but also he can't give the Genji the attention because he's working on the rest of the players on the point. Kellex, that's a no-fly zone, my man. Prophet charges in, and there was a Discord orb on him. And that's a pretty comfortable kill. The London Spitfire looking very good now. Clean dives coming back. Shades of stage 1 here for them. And they're looking solid on the point. There's no chance for the Uprising to make it there. And this may well be the Boston Uprising's first defeat on Temple of Anubis. 5 minutes, 12 seconds.
It's an eternity.
To take one tick of point A. So the London Spitfire really shouldn't have a problem with this. So Note is obviously the first obstacle to get past. They can sort of burst him down or force him back. They can go from there. No, it's an uncovered backline. That's not good. Prophet sees it. He sees blood in the water. And he chases it up. And Neko just gets completely mashed.
Yeah, and you see the players from Boston backing up to the point because Hurek has gotten around to that right side, and they didn't expect the players to just come darting onto the point for London that quick. Boston was not ready for that at all.
Well, here's the issue. Note was sitting over on the right-hand side, quite close. There was no one protecting the backline because Boston are running an Orisa in the middle. No one to cover the squishies. The London Spitfire identify a key weakness and immediately capitalize on it. Very sharp play from this team, and of course Prophet leading the charge in on that Genji. He's had an excellent match in general.
In the last few weeks, it's going to be a much tougher match than I think Boston probably would have expected.
And walk into this one, Boston, with a very favourable map record on a couple of maps. The next one, though, isn't good for them, and it's very, very good for the London Spitfire. And Barty's just around the corner, guys. This is the Overwatch League. We'll see you in a moment. The perfect start for the London Spitfire, one of their most important matches of this stage. Two teams coming in at 16 and 8 respectively, and London actually take down Boston on arguably their best map.
And this is a very good map coming up for the London Spitfire. It is
a 7-1 on it, 7-0?
Undefeated. 100%
Undefeated.
win rate on this map. It's going to be a very tough one for Boston to win.
Hurek's Widowmaker as well. I mean, this guy in the previous map was 10 final blows, 3 deaths, so absolutely did his job and did it very well. Prophet carrying as usual on that Genji.
I feel like their team, their gesture is so good in the main tank role, and then Prophet is incredible at every hero we see him picking up. I mean, you just enable those two guys to really play their game. You're gonna rattle off a lot of wins in this league. I feel like the Overwatch League, I mean, obviously we haven't gone to the end and had like a playoff yet and whatnot, but it's just like the NFL or NBA or any other sport, right? I mean, is anyone going to remember at the end of the year, like, who's the stage 1 or stage 2 champion? Like, it's who's playing the hottest in stage 4 into the playoffs and can carry it through. I know if you had a time to slump, you'd rather it be in stage 2, stage 3, right? Not have it towards the end of the year.
I think if... Hureg.
Nah, he'll be fine.
I think you're for super significant in the grand scheme of things. Here's the dive. Oh, it works well. Closer forced to back away. There's one thing Boston know how to do is to get in the face of the enemy team. Taking a pound town, as it were. However, the Spitfire are unscathed essentially so far. Though can't spend too much time on the high ground trying to chunk down Hagapun because he needs to protect his team on the point. Mistakes trying to slink away down to a sliver of health, and Hurek falls to Neko early on. Important pick up there as Neko would skit it around the backside of the point, but the Spitfire break back in just as fast. Kellex being the first one to go down, with Neko elsewhere after assassinating Hureg. There was no healing for Boston on the point. Here we go again, round 2 on the dive here for the Boston Uprising. Mistakes gets very deep. Dragon Blade here, Hagapun is down. He may not have enough slashes to finish off Hureg, but it will be an easy job. He was low on health, Mistakes that's a dash through. Good opener on the flat for Mistakes there, getting rid of one support, taking another one low, but elsewhere on the point, this is where London are winning. They're giving up the first kills, and they're still hanging around in these fights. And half of that is on the back of someone like Koza surviving, giving that healing. Fury receives a pulse bomb, is able to shrug it off and pressure on again. Gamsu, though, it's a mid-air hit on Closer, heads him over the fence for a home run.
And you're using these ultimates, you had no one on the points. And now they work their way back to the point. You have Kellex back with Valkyrie. London may challenge this again. They do have their Transcendence use. Gesture just gets blown up as soon as he gets to the point, though. I think you hold on to that support ult now. This is a lost cause for London.
And an easy stagger as well. There's no way that Hureg's going to escape, and Hago is also in deep trouble. He's run down by Striker. Closer, surely not hoping for a resurrect. Trying to get the job done. Perhaps just trying to interrupt Kellex resurrecting Mistakes there. Let's have a look at this from Striker's perspective, though, because he picked up a brace of kills.
You see Gesture so weak as soon as he comes through. They do a nice job of eliminating both tanks. Not able to make much progress after that.
Surprise, but definitely very juicy bait for the Uprising if they want to try and dive there on the Cowboy. Respectable distance for Striker right now. And another Dragon Blade for Mistakes. He farmed that up quickly, didn't he? Hago down once again. History repeats itself, and now some free damage on Fury, who will be desuited very quickly. London's capacity now to try and hold off the Uprising severely limited with the loss of that Diva mech, and Gesture might be in trouble himself.
Yeah, they jumped in, got Hagapun to use his Transcendence, then backed out a little bit, and then Mistakes was able to use the Blade, but Gesture with Primal Rage takes out Note. You have Prophet in the backline who takes out Neko. As Gesture is just extending this fight more for London. London would have gotten in a little bit more trouble there. You could have had Valkyrie come out. So London has done a really nice job today, Mitch, of using these ultimates.
But he'll have a pulse bomb to bring into this fight. Slap it down! No one ate it up, and he doesn't actually get the stick, so not really amount to much, but this Deadeye could be quite nasty. The Diva mech actually just got released, so a good opportunity for Hureg, and yeah, Mistakes goes down. Fury was busy resuiting, as was Note at that time. Now Hureg and Mistakes both brought back to life, and Mistakes is yet another Dragon Blade, but the flash comes in, and Fury follows up. It might not have been enough for Hureg to get the kill on Mistakes, but he was backed up by his Diva player. And now Striker's trying to find his next target. What a stick! Straight in towards Closer, not a thing he could do about it. And this will be Hureg getting pushed back. Gamsu now doing a lot of heavy lifting with that Winston.
Yeah, you still have Fury and Prophet alive here, though, for London. Hagapun does have Transcendence if you need it. This Prophet just trying to stall this out a little bit. Gesture back as well. They're going to invest into this. London wants the hold here.
Mistakes just got smashed. He just returned to the fight and got pulse bombed immediately by Prophet. And Striker realizes now, without that additional firepower the Cyber Soldier could bring, they've got to back away. A very important place to hold now for the London Spitfire.
Stage, not much time, and then you're going to be behind in support ultimates. You may not get a great chance at it. Nice defense matrix used there from Fury.
Straight in the bin with that one. Fury then goes straight onto the payload and sets a self-destruct into stall. Hureg Deadeye? Nothing to be found from that one. Barely forces Boston away.
Yeah, but Boston uses Transcendence, and then they just kind of back up, so they didn't get anything for Transcendence. They use Valkyrie now as well. You may be able to, and now you're giving London both support ultimates here, as they're going to be able to come back in with Valkyrie and Transcendence. Oh, not anymore.
Valkyrie in, but Mistakes is cutting him down, Matt. Fury runs headlong at him, and not having the Transcendence from Hago, who went down early in the fight, means that it's going to be hard to deal with attack.
It's such a big kill there. It's a great opportunity to finish the map.
Gesture's taking probably more damage than he otherwise would have liked to, and you can see he even uses the jump to get away, but Hureg, sharp, very sharp Striker. It's picked out again. McCree's very good at punishing that more aggressive positioning. Players like Tracer to get too cocky. I'm saying about Hureg, man. Bringing that hit scan prowess in. It's definitely not a huge downgrade, if at all. Transcendence Force. Look at that. Hureg manages to put Mistakes in such a position. He's calling out for the healing. But Gesture's dropped down. Fury now being healed on the payload, but will have to run away, and the Pulse Bomb stuck on in. No connection. Maybe Note took a bit of damage from that one, but another Tactical Visor yielding results from Mistakes.
It's a big tack visor because Closer uses Valkyrie and he's not able to get around the corner and heal up Fury, and then they're able to get the DMAC on a Fury. This Closer will go on here towards the end. London will get a touch. You're going to have Primal Rage here for Gamsu. He should be able to do a lot of damage with this.
Anna, yeah, okay, interesting pick. Good sleep on Gamsu. He should be okay. If he's damaged, he'll wake up. Prophet can't do too much. He'll attempt to burst him down, but he has a Primal Rage, and Gamsu takes it straight downtown. Fury does manage to get resuited despite taking a lot of damage, and Gestures in deep. He finds Neko, and Hagopun gets on towards that Zenyatta. Perfect response from the London Spitfire, and the aggression is just perfect. Measured in their approach. Hureg is blown up, but I think he's going to be fine here for the London Spitfire. Strike will throw himself in this one to try and make a difference. They'll be warded away by the rest of the Spitfire. Failure to complete for the Uprising.
Boston, I mean, he made a ton of progress. So we can see, this is Hureg towards the end. So he's got Mistakes and Neko right here. He gets Mistakes weak, and just does a nice job of working his way back. He's going to get the DMAC there. Really nice positioning on McCree, a hero who, on defense here for Boston. Mistakes will play Soldier 76. You're going to see him set up on the high ground. They're bringing in Ana here, so Neko will play Ana on defense. We usually see a decent amount of Ana play on defense here because when the dive comes in towards the back, like we usually see where Neko is positioning, a Biotic Grenade will go down. You'll deny a lot of healing that comes in. And if London's going to run that Moira, that's really all the sources of their healing. If they get hit with a Biotic Grenade, it's going to be a lot of trouble for London.
Hureg would love to hack Striker, though, not allowing him to do that, and now the Spitfire are being bundled now into this close quarters area. Not great for them considering Striker and Mistakes are at large, and that Helix rocket could prove devastating. Hureg pulls the pin.
The players are not able to complete any of those hacks.
Oh, Mistakes is in deep trouble. Can he sprint away? No! He ran headlong into Hagopun anyway. It would have been curtains for the 76 regardless. Prophet's very close to another Pulse Bomb, and that will be the one aimed at Gamsu, no doubt. Want to remove the Winston as soon as possible now with Note off the table. Pulse Bomb dropped in, but he gets taken out. Gamsu was there, receiving the Biotic Grenade, healing. And Jester now quickly being attended to by his backline. Striker can't do a heck of a lot from that position there, and I can tell he has a Pulse Bomb. Neko with that, also with that Nano Boost. I don't really know where we're going to be headed this time. Mistakes is trying to do something from off of the point here, Matt, but it looks like it's a struggle for the Boston Uprising to break back in.
And it's going to be Hureg with an EMP. He actually got a hack on the Gamsu there, so wasn't actually able to get back to the supports because, you know, Gesture and...
You either dive him or you get shredded at long range. Neko always in danger. I think Mistakes wanted to drop back and throw a Biotic field for him there, but the London Spitfire had already caught up with the backline of the Uprising. Mistakes can't even get a break here. He's trying to get away from Prophet. He's sitting on top of that mini health pack. Prophet is just relentless and Hagopun. What was that? What was that? Unbelievable! One-man army! Disgusting!
Just shouting him different phrases here.
What is this?
We'll see it from his perspective.
Oh my god.
Throwing shakes, man.
Oh my god!
That is filthy stuff. Just the headshots. It's such a satisfying noise when you're hitting them on set.
I've never seen that. I've never seen that before. Absolutely incredible, and the Spitfire are not done there. Trying to pick my jaw back off the ground and use it to talk ain't easy. Second checkpoint coming up for London. Gesture as well, close to the Primal Rage. Primal Rage Deadeye is definitely an option. Neko's down already, it's time. Hureg coming forward, gets a flash on Gamsu as he tries to ascend. It's gonna stop him. Won't prevent him from covering the payload with that shield though, and Gamsu has to use the Primal Rage. He misses the door. And just to stay alive and stop the inexorable tide of the Spitfire, the Uprising finally shake themselves free and have a moment just to try and recollect themselves.
No support ults and a Pulse Bomb to bring it home.
Mistakes is in trouble, they're pressuring him. Force the Transcendence out now, and Prophet's thinking about it, but Hureg comes in. Nothing better to cut through the Trans than, of course, that Deadeye. Closer. Trying to keep Hureg up and Striker's head just gets plucked. It's William Tell kind of stuff over here. And that self-destruct is going to be very easy to avoid. Just break line of sight with the payload, and the Spitfire are hurtling home. Such a great map for them now, punctuated by incredible individual performances. Mistakes can't get anything done. Yes, the Pulse Bomb from Striker connects on Prophet, but it's only one person taken out. Gamsu throws himself on the payload now, and over the top you can see the healing still coming in. Striker on that left-hand side. Prophet is brought back into the fight by Closer just to make it even more of a crushing advantage for London. Hagopun was removed from the fight, so no Mavericks and Yatta antics for the next few seconds, and Gesture drops in. Telex can't get away, back on his signature Lucio now. Hureg forward, and that's it. Look at that man! Is that the face of a Stone Cold Killer? Yeah, it is!
And you look at Hureg, I mean, 26% of overall team damage, had a very good game for the London Spitfire playing McCree. It's a Hagapun come alive on Zenyatta. You know, mistakes on the other side for Boston. Doesn't have a bad game. Does 30% of hero damage for the Boston Uprising there on Soldier 76 primarily. Boston not able to hold on to Navani.
Astounding. This play from Hagapun will go down for quite some time. What a match it's been so far. After the break, we'll hear from the desk on what has transpired.
Well, the Boston Uprising used to be undefeated on Anubis, but not anymore because London is not playing the games. We may be playing a game on the stage, but they ain't playing a game in the game of life. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know if any of that made sense.
I don't know what you're saying, Golden Boy.
I'm just saying things. Anyway, welcome back to the half, everyone. London Spitfire are up 2-0. and hey, you know what? I'm gonna just come on and say it. We had the general manager of London Spitfire, Susie, come around here.
Yeah.
And she told you, Sideshow, that you betrayed your countrymen.
She did, yeah. And she said, you know, who won those maps? Who won those maps? I said, who's about to get reverse swept? Right?
Really, this is a different Donald Spitfire, and I don't really think we've seen this stage so far. So they could get going with a win here.
What I love is that they're playing fast and aggressive. And the Boston Uprising, they like to take their time. They like to set up defenses or set up offenses, really focus on great positioning. And then when they're all ready and they're all set up, boom, then they attack. And their timing and execution are great when they get set up. But London Spitfire are constantly in their face. They got pressure from Gesture, from Prophet, from the aggressive Lucio speed boost. They don't know how to deal with it right now. They're on the back foot and they're reeling. London Spitfire have a very unique style. They like to play aggressive with Gesture and Prophet, even when they have a passive DPS like a McCree or like a Soldier. So they just leave Gesture and Prophet and they like run with them really deep into the backline. And at the moment, Boston are crumbling because when this pressure normally comes in against the NYXL, when Sabiobi and Janus tried the same thing, Neko was winning those 2v2s. He was having a really great performance and shut down Sabiobi. At the moment, Gesture and Prophet are running wild in the backline of the Boston Uprising, and they just cannot deal with it at all. So that's a big focus for them moving forwards across these maps. They have to maybe put Striker on dueling duty and focus on man-marking Prophet and take him out of the fights. They need to make some mid-time adjustments to come forward, but they could potentially reverse sweep this. I know I said it in jest earlier, but they are favored on the control
you literally
map.
said they would reverse sweep.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold that.
Literally,
Josh.
Well, when it happens, I'm going to look like a magician, aren't I?
Yeah. So Reinforce, you want to change your prediction? Do you think Boston is going to win this one still? You committed?
I think the London Spitfire will win. I'm
Okay, flip-flopper.
Brand, I summon your energy. I'm the prophet
Pull the
now.
brand.
I'm the prophet now.
Okay.
The Oracle. I think.
The Oracle.
Yeah.
Yes. Prophet's playing it there.
Prophet.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for your insight. And boy, what a match this has been thus far. London Spitfire currently up in this series. Can the Boston Uprising find a way to rally back and make the reverse sweep happen? That is the question.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. One half down in our second match of the day, and the London Spitfire currently hold a 2-0 lead over the Boston Uprising. They look like a reinvigorated team. They're much more calculated, much more aggressive, and it's definitely showing in their play. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how this second half pans out because the Boston Uprising are actually really good on control maps. And, you know, Overwatch is a game of momentum, so if they're going to turn this match around, it is now that they will do that. Anyways, guys, it is match point London. Can the Uprising bring it back to a map 5? Let's find out right now and send it over to our casters, Uber and Mr. X.
Yeah, thanks, Malik. You're looking really small over there, bro. I've got to say, though, he's right. Control is where Boston can bring this back. I mean, it's got to be a reverse sweep at this stage, and that's just a titanic task against a team who doesn't seem to be having many flaws today.
I mean, big Widowmaker battle here on Ruins. Mistakes versus Hureg. See who comes out on top. I think Strikers had a really tough day in terms of Tracer play going up against either it's Prophet or Hureg. I think both those players are giving him trouble.
I mean, that's not necessarily always going to be his job on that map as well.
No.
It should be setting up Striker and Gatsu to finish those kills to a degree. Helix Rocket is great for that, but it doesn't have it all the time, obviously. So see, Striker's been very busy, but Gamsu goes a little bit too deep and is removed by Prophet. I don't know if that's resurrectable. No, I think it's a little bit too deep. Helix is going to opt not to really get involved. The mistakes goes down. Hago again. However, Striker quickly fires back. With Gesture missing, Fury now has to be the front line, the instigator. Mistakes is brought back to life, so a lot of threat now with the Widowmaker.
Boston should be able to hold on to this for a little bit longer, though. There's a pulse bomb from Striker. on a Gesture. Kellex using Valkyrie, keeping everybody alive. And those 3 kills
There it is.
should allow Boston to hold on to the point. Now you get into this dangerous territory for London. 62% and counting. You'll probably, you know, if where this next fight goes down, get up to 75, 78%. As Fury, you know, he gets staggered out pretty long. So maybe
Side there, you'll notice he might hold on to it. Now, sometimes you hold on to it in case the enemy Widow uses it, but Mistakes probably realizes that he's been keeping Hureg under control, and Hureg is a long way away from his infant.
he had used it already.
Yeah. So it's definitely out of sync, so Mistakes doesn't need to use it to answer. Furious out on the point there, discorded by Neko. He can just go to 1-for-1, forces that self-destruct. It can't break line of sight though, but doesn't take the full damage from the blast. Backing away, of course, and remaining alive. And look at this Boston Uprising, but such a good round. They've been in control. Hagapun goes down to Mistakes. It's going to be Gesture to try and throw himself at this one, and now the Transcendence comes out. Boston makes sure they don't lose any players here and stay strong.
And on this point, you needed to see this if you're a Boston Uprising fan. Mistakes absolutely dominating the Widowmaker battle here against Hureg. That'll give Boston Uprising that first point. Statistically, so far in Stage 3, he's like #1 in everything for Sombra players. Very good.
Statistically, Sombra is one of the least played DPSs. I've not seen that much from him recently. We thought she'd dominate, but it hasn't been the case.
Not as much. You can probably put Sombra to pretty good use here, right? You know, the Mega Health Pack inside, you can hack the one that we just saw. Mistakes
Controlling that
behind.
mini is more important.
Yeah.
Because that makes enemy flankers having to back away from the point to get help.
And the tanks can't just keep like darting out, getting there, jumping back in if you want to stall that out. So you mentioned a very important health pack to control.
Makes you feel like the Boston just want to fight on the point. I like that approach there. Force London to come to them, and Hureg has already met his fate. Neko opens up the proceedings once again. Another notch in the belt for him. 6 final blows over this map. Just a different team right now we're seeing for the Boston Uprising. That halftime break definitely paid off. Can't read into it yet. Not enough sample size. It's not a good thing either though. Oh, there we go. Gamsu lands right in front of Prophet. He's gifted a very simple pulse bomb target, and Note now gets that D-suit. Somehow Kellex sneaks in and gets a resurrect on Gamsu there. So the Winston is back for the Uprising, and he doesn't peel immediately back to the point though, which is what I find interesting. He remains fighting over in the middle of the map to try and remove people like Hureg and Hago, and he and Striker have dispatched both of them. Interesting, very more aggressive play from Gamsu post-res.
And they were playing aggressive because Mistakes was able to get 2 hacks onto the supports. Uses an EMP here. Gesture not able to use Primal Rage as Striker takes him out. Gamsu now going to use his Primal Rage as Boston is able to turn this around, Mitch. Note on the point with a self-destruct. You have Neko coming back off of spawn with a Transcendence. Hureg using Deadeye, just trying to, I mean, not really going to get much with it. He did have Prophet pick up Gamsu here with this pulse bomb, but still a lot of ultimates here for Boston to be able to hold on to this point.
Boston is stalling the point. They don't need any encouragement to hide away and sit on the point itself. So Hureg's Deadeye doesn't actually change the game state very much at all. They're still stalling. London is still trying to get access, and now the rest of Boston have returned to the fray. Gamsu's off to Hureg's left here, so we'll see how he wants to try and enter the fight. Gamsu is flanking on that Winston. He jumps in the backside here. The hack is big. Hureg can't do anything about it. Striker finds him, but a lot of players from Boston have already fallen here. Now we're going to see the jump on in. Fury does one move pretty comfortably now. It's just Mistakes lingering.
They put themselves
Mistakes paved the way for him. It's a classic 1-2 punch that we're seeing now on this new patch. Hureg again, a Deadeye. Forced to positioning, almost gets smashed by Neko. The Prophet's going ham. Note Mistakes are already down. Prophet has another pulse bomb, which he's mostly been using to remove Gamsu from the fight. Doesn't need it this time though. Just 3 calls on out, and Boston have to back away. So Mistakes is getting frustrated now, because his Translocator's about to expire. He's gonna have to go in for the EMP, and he gets it now. It's gonna be Fury and Hureg get hacked up for the time being. Hagapun still got the Transcendence off, but it might not make a difference. Gamsu forces Hagapun out of line of sight. Gesture's also made good use of his Primal Rage, though, but Gamsu wants a Hureg, and he gets it. Right up close, no escaping from that one. Might have been lucky to be alive so far, Jesse McCree, but not this time. Back to Santa Fe with you, and Hagapun gonna get punched out. They're Boston Uprising, wake up! And they make a series of this now. It's 2-1. Boston keep themselves alive.
And Gesture did all he could there, Mitch. He's able to actually take out Neko, push him off the side before he could use Transcendence. So Boston didn't get a use out of that big support ultimate, but it doesn't matter. Mistakes looked much better there on the Widowmaker in the Sombra. And that's what you need to see for him if Boston's going to force a game 5.
I'll have to admit, Matt, I was a little bit worried coming into half-time that this match might not really go all the distance or show us what Boston have been capable of. Recently, but they're bringing back on Ilios there. Quite a commanding performance. A lot of key players coming back into the fray and lighting up.
Yeah, and I think with mistakes starting to pop off a little bit on the Widowmaker, you give yourself a fighting chance going into this final map on Junkertown, right? A lot of this map determines on the offensive side how well your Widowmaker's playing.
Neko was switched to the Bastion. He's playing that one now. Not a shocker. Let's see how they play around this, because the Valiant might be wanting to take some notes. Just having none of it. See when the barrier went down? Well, the defense matrix from Huya was there. Neko has been removed. So this will be Boston probably stalling out a little bit now. Losing their battering ram, as it were.
Position. I'm surprised that London is letting him go all the way around, knowing that they have the infrasight, but they're going to use the Riptire.
Over the top. Ooh.
Don't get anything.
Nicely done. Mistakes there. This is dangerous. Huya going to get chunked through by Neko. He was given a chance to set up. Probably not going to be a resurrect there. His corpse was far too close to the Bastion, and you can see that Neko was out for blood.
Striker uses the Riptire. Both of these teams right now are 16-8. So the loser of this obviously goes to 16-9. That is the same record as the Valiant, and the Valiant are in 6th place. They need to put together a lot of good games for the rest of Stage 3. Give themselves some breathing room.
All right, Hureg gets the shot on Mistakes, who is brought back to life, and Neko's down. The terror that is Bastion has finally been quelled. The payload won't move any further for the time being now that Widowmaker is starting to have an impact.
Continue to build up towards Transcendence as Minocean being pretty sneaky here. He's gonna wait for a nice hook there. Connect on the
Cheating! He stole the kill! Real rude! Regardless, Minocean's able to follow up and remove Neko. That was that self-destruct that actually removed the player that was hooked in. Prophet, respect the body blaster. No, he's not going to be allowed out.
For an extended period of time. Maybe see a little bit more success.
You need to be able to access the backline. You know, you really need to be able to get on these guys to dive in. So it's definitely possible. You can see now Hureg being threatened with a Riptide being brought in. Gamsu couldn't do anything about it. The payload's not moving now. Despite the fact that Boston are fully committed to this fight, they've got to double back and try and get this payload rolling. Gamsu's brought back to life. Because he was too far away to sort of prevent that resurrect. Boston are going to reset.
Yeah, but for Boston here, you trade out your Valkyrie for the other team's Valkyrie, but Ocean will use Whole Hog here. So a lot of ultimates used here by the London Spitfire. You're going to have Transcendence in this next fight for Boston. So you traded your...
Hureg now a little bit nervous because his infrasight's expiring, right? So he backs away, making sure it's much harder to flank him. Gamsu not going anywhere, big fella, caught in the trap. Note suspended in midair, and Hureg can't make what would otherwise have been a simpler shot for him, but there's other things to worry about for the time being. Gamsu resurrected again. And here's the Riptide, man. I warned you, mate. No one listened to me. Note gets desuited. And that Orb of Harmony on him doesn't really do too much here, although risk losing the entire series. I know it's crazy, but believe me, it happens. Mistakes gets nothing with a Dragon Blade there. It's blunted, it's like a butter knife trying to cut through, and Wuyal is far too durable for that to bother him. Striker Pulse Bomb, yeah, got to deal with Bedoshin, and he gets it done. Hureg is taken down by Gamsu, so they finally dive deep enough to remove the Widowmaker from play, but it's not been enough. Nuts deals with Striker. Headshot with a Caduceus Blast when he brings back Bedoshin. Big Mercy plays coming out here for the Spitfire now. And a Gamsu's going to be forced back. There's really not much to be done for Kellex either. Trying to spin around, show off that high sensitivity, but that doesn't win you games. Mistakes. It's punched in the back of the head. And the Spitfire now are on the runway, ready to lift off here for a series victory.
Yeah, not going to be a good one, I don't think, for Boston here. Yeah, I think it's going to be very difficult. I think, you know, where the payload is, you almost need to get a first point hold, because, you know, if London can get point A, and you kind of see where the payload kind of moves in and where it ends up, where that golden box of victory is by point B, it's going to be incredibly difficult to hold there. You're going to have like one fight pretty much when it gets from point A to point B, and if you lose that fight, it's pretty much GG. Switches over to Sombra here. We could see this. I mean, you know, a few health packs here, but you know, not ones you're going to be like chained together.
You can flank around and get a hack on Gamsu or Note kind of easily. And it's very easy to just to sort of loop around the back because these buildings all have paths, you know, on the left and right side that will allow you through. So he's actually going to flank around, I think, and try and see if he can get a pick. He actually hacks Mistakes. So Mistakes is hacked currently. Prophet goes down though.
You know, the translocator are one of these ones where Prophet's looking at here by Boston. So it's going all the way back towards the spawn. But then he has to work his way all the way back to the other side.
Prophet's asking to get staggered right now.
Yeah.
Does get detected and right behind him. Oh, that could be a kill. Oh, okay. Prophet also avoids getting blown up there. That's a good turnaround because now they throw the EMP in the mix and somehow the momentum starts to shift heavily in the favor of the London Spitfire. They caught themselves an updraft and now they're starting to motor along. Hulk used to try and pull everyone above that Orisa barrier. Doesn't really amount to too much. The self-destruct also kind of fizzles. Gamsu removes Gesture, but Prophet is still shepherding this payload forward. Whilst Wu Yao and Co were trying to deal with the threat of Striker, who's going very low. He's just getting chased down in the side room. Prophet has a whole hog, but likely won't employ it now. Note, it'd be frustrating to lose a Diva at that point. Nuts, will he try and go for a cheeky res? He's hoping for it. No, he's gonna get out.
And I'm surprised they didn't finish Striker off. He was hacked there by that mega health pack, and they were not.
He's playing right at the back.
And just with this strong defense, Boston has given them a chance if they do this.
That's a long-range headshot, man.
Oh yeah. Riptire will come out though.
EMP thrown in, nuts down.
It was an EMP plus self-destruct, and you were not able to get anything with it with the self-destruct, but you are taking out some players. You get a high-value res though on a Neko. That large HP pool of Roadhog gets brought right back up, and it's difficult to get through these tanks.
I mean, think of it, it's not only 500 HP, it's effectively about 850 to 900 because of take a breather if that's off cooldown plus the damage reduction. So that's probably the best res target you have, and you have an Orisa barrier to protect it. Bit of a slap with the whip there.
You take a look. You're gonna have a supercharger go down here for Gesture. It'll be a self-destruct that's thrown in from Note. He's able to get Nuss. That's huge. You're not gonna have a res here.
And no Gesture, no supercharger, a 6v4. Note's going ham right now, but Ocean's falling down. Neko gotta get himself the whole hog. And there's no one from the Spitfire on the payload. Unbelievable. What a hold on Junkertown. And you've gotta be happy about that. The Boston Uprising get to play one of their better maps following the break, but more importantly than that, it has not been a good one for the Spitfire. Oasis is a dangerous place for them to be.
Boston will not
At the half. I think we're looking at a game 5 here, and then when you look at Oasis, look at that percentage win rate for London Spitfire at the bottom. Tiebreak on Oasis, they've only won that once the entire season. So
Welcome to Oasis.
explosive. Genji play it's I know pretty safe conservative, but when you play with those Striker and Gamsu, do you really need to be explosive players, right? I mean, you have those two you're relying a lot on. Gesture and Prophet go down early here.
I'm so fascinated by this. It's so rare that we actually see teams just straight up play the full dive on both sides composition on this map. You know, yes, there's a Sombre here, Hureg, Vidoson's on the Moira, but
On this map, both teams just want to brawl this out. London pushes back Boston as they are accruing some percentage on the point. It doesn't look like Boston is too worried about the point just yet.
Gumsu's down, brought back to life. Again, Kellex, very clutch on those heals. They're much harder to produce nowadays, but he's been doing it with relative frequency. Transcendence there for Neko. Obviously, Gamsu knows he can't survive even with Transcendence in play, and that's the Dragon Blade from Mistakes. Will only claim Nuts for the time being. Hureg uses a hack, not the EMP, so he holds that reserve for the next fight. And it's a good sign for the Spitfire, who start off 38% behind.
He gets a miraculous raid, and Gamsu's able to come back with Primal Rage, but you're going to make the switch.
Oh, he's been defected. That body blocked up there, and Neko had a few scared moments to try and deal with him, but it's not enough. Prophet comes in with a pulse bomb, and both the Zenyatta and McCree have been removed. And that's a wash. Immediately the fight is over.
It's a good use of the EMP from Hureg. See, he gets stuck there for a little bit, just trying to walk by Note. He sees both support players there. He wants to make sure he gets them.
And Prophet can just glide over from the other side of the battlefield knowing that this has happened. And that's the thing about Sombra, you gotta remember, if you clip on an enemy hero, you'll be revealed, right? Obviously, you might be invisible, but they can still obviously
You get very
feel
close.
your presence. So here's another dive. They're trying to find a lovely way to isolate the supports here. Very clever move by the London Spitfire, but now they've got to follow it up. They do finally deal with Kellex. Love the dive. It works out very well. It's kind of fun. It's novel to see this on this map with teams that just sort of defaulted to playing Reinhardt.
And you can make this work because of Bidoshin playing to do a lot of AoE healing to numerous players with Moira.
That's up to Boston. How do you break this? Diva makes sent towards the side room, but didn't make it inside. Trades out now as Bidoshin's removed by a pulse from Striker, so the Fade clearly not available to him. Bidoshin's been using Fade aggressively to follow up his team's dive. That's why he doesn't have it sometimes to have self-kill or evasion. And it looks like the Boston Uprising able to break into the fight now. Just a couple of trades early, gives them the win.
But 98% for the London Spitfire. You have big ultimates like an EMP coming online.
Hureg still sneaks through the net, so he'll drop in, completely invisible. EMP comes out here. It's going to be Striker and Gamsu hacked up by that one. Mistakes is going to Deadeye. Note also was hacked, but it doesn't matter. Mistakes get the 2K. Two very important, very slippery targets dispatched by that pinpoint accuracy of the Deadeye. And that's huge for Boston. So big. It's going to put them now with a chance to win the map. See if Striker maybe hits a big pulse bomb before this even begins. Gonna wait to win the fight. This would be the way to give yourself the round, but now the sound barrier probably giving him pause for thought. Who's Striker looking for? And the Moira? Is he chasing Bedosen? Yes, Bedosen doesn't have... Oh, there's the fade, so he's now used it. Now he's vulnerable, he gets stuck! Great response, but look at this. The whole time Striker was looking for a target. The rest of his team just gets dumpstered. Prophet and Hurek go huge in this fight. The switch has worked out, and the London Spitfire take it all away. First round, orange and blue, and what a great response from a team who's looked very unsettled on this map in the past. It's a new look, a fresh start, different perspective on this map, and it's worked for them so far.
Yeah, we got a replay here of Prophet towards the end. As you mentioned, him and Hureg start to go off. He's able to get Neko. You see how far back they force these supports. Mistakes can't really help either of them on McCree. I mean, so many players in his face at that point. Both teams will play Sombra. London will continue to run Moira here, so not going to have the benefits of a Discord or Resurrection. But if they're going to play fast and you're going to dive in, oh, that's a huge kill there from Gamsu. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of the healing here comes out of the Moira in this comp. Uyo, though, takes out both supports here for Boston.
He's everywhere right now. Couple big picks, and Hurek can follow up now, desuiting Note and taking the Mini Diva down. What an intense fight, but this is what London does on this map. They don't play the point to begin with. Oh, it's close. The Bunny Blaster of Wuyal is just going ham. He knows he has to head back over the edge now and let Bedosen just try and do his work. Look at that, though. The biotic grasp. Striker can't avoid that.
And it's odd with this composition that Boston comes out with these supports, right? Because they're running a mirror composition. You want to be aggressive. You want to push on forward. I know Zenyatta and Mercy, not the two best supports at doing that. I think you do obviously love to have that resurrection and those. I think you're playing it for those big two support ultimates.
Because he has literally zero mobility from that point. Nothing you can do.
And they know that if they do get Bedosen, Nuss does not have enough healing to keep everybody else alive on the London Spitfire.
Get wiped out again. I gotta say, Wuyal's had an incredible start to the round. In general, we saw that passage of play earlier on. Great sequence from him. Striker, he wanted it! He wasn't going to take no for an answer, and Bedosen trying to give the spray down. Unfortunately, it's not repellent.
Right, even more healing than you have Neko doing as Zenyatta. I think it's just these two support ultimates you really value high for the Boston Uprising. That's why you're running the Mercy in the Zen. Let's see if they can put them to good use, right? I mean, the EMP kind of takes all of that away. You could have a lot of abilities taken away. 2 EMPs could potentially go down here. There's the first one. It'll be Sound Barrier used by Nuss. And it'll be Hurek using his EMP as well, but Neko doesn't get caught in it. He'll use Transcendent.
No, the only person getting hacked by the EMP was Note, whereas Gesture and Prophet were the ones affected by Mistakes as EMP. Just slightly better from Mistakes on that Sombra ultimate, and look at the way it pays off. Dominant fight. Kelex was free to resurrect Neko. He wasn't hacked. He was entirely safe. He could just fly around the map and stay alive. And Bedosen and Hurek down. We are also missing an out. Last chance saloon for the Spitfire. And they just have to throw themselves at the point. Gesture and Prophet are waiting in the wings. You can see Prophet does get onto the point, albeit taking a bit of damage and forced to recall immediately. Gesture down, bubble up, but they just walk on inside and he's no more. Hurek, Nuss and Bedosen are on the way. They're using the Lucio now to speed them over to the point. And one by one, the Spitfire have to try and stretch this out. They need to get a couple picks in the meantime. It's a huge ask for them to stay in this round, man.
Somehow they're able to keep Prophet alive. Mistakes get a hack onto the Tracer, but Note dives in, not able to finish it off, but that's going to start to spiral everything out of control. A few players get weak in the back there. You see Striker will take out Bedosen. 2 kills come in favor of London, though. They're going to get both supports.
That's big. That could be a turnaround. Nuss is going big. He's got 2 kills. Mistakes is down. Hurek finds the pick on Gamsu. It's now a 2v2 over on the point. Note is hacked up on the Diva, so can't do much, and Hurek's trying to dodge him. He translocates his way out. Still in overtime. Still in control of Boston. And Hurek and Wuyal were a couple feet above the point. That was a very close fight. And Nuss, with 2 kills on the Lucio, almost turned it. Bring it back, so we're going all the way now to City Center. This series ends here.
And this is a point where I think it'll be a little bit easier for, potentially Nuss, Neko or Kelex to hide a little bit. The first fight here will go heavy in favor of London as they speed up, they get pole position. But I think as this round goes on...
But the entirety of London can actually sit up here, and they can just keep sort of rotating around, break line of sight, force Boston to try and dive them. And you can see that Wuyal's waiting by the door. So he's waiting for the main tank, and of course the flex tank for Boston to jump in, and now London have actually seen a better opportunity. They're going forward now. Punishing poor positioning from Neko. And we are now just going to crack him in a Note. Again, Diva's essentially a walking trash can when she's hacked. In fact, not even a trash can because she can't even eat things with that defense matrix. So she doesn't do much at all, really. Gamsu's down. Gesture really making ends meet the way the Spitfire would like it. Now with mistakes running away, Note thrown into oncoming traffic. That'll be 41%.
Striker is still here. He's able to eliminate Hureg. May have a small window of opportunity before Hureg gets back in where you could EMP. Striker does touch the point. Reinforcements coming in here for Boston.
You see the Spitfire get ground. They would like, ideally, the Uprising to try and dive in. This also makes it a little bit harder for Boston to properly sneak mistakes in. Big EMP though. That's 4 targets that are hacked up. Beautiful 5 in fact. Striker gets rid of Rui, but there's no way you're winning that fight. The EMP was just way too good. Mistakes didn't have a chance to use his.
We're getting into one fight territory here, Mitch. You know, Kelix and Neko now who switch over to Moira. May not even get anything now. That can't happen. You lose mistakes here. You're probably going to lose. Kelix seems really low. There'll be sound barrier that comes in from London. They're trying to put it away here. They're going to get aggressive. They're going to push them back.
This is perfect now, as long as they don't overextend. London have a 12% win rate on this map so far. So this would be a huge turnaround against a quality team like this Uprising squad. Gesture is hacked, but he gets up in the sky, and overtime is now ticking down. Striker's on the point. He's keeping this going, but the rest of the Spitfire are kind of ignoring him for the time being. But Gamsu breaks onto Bidoshin, lands on him there. And Striker now moves into the point with some more confidence. Primal Rage for Gamsu. Neko removes Wuya. Biotic Grasping used to good effect. Neko down though. Prophet deals with him, but there's not enough players. And all of the Spitfire is spread to the 4 corners of the city center. They have to regroup. And Boston stay alive.
Mistakes uses the EMP. They can't go anywhere. They're able to pick up the kills off of that.
Big stick there. Gesture really suffers for that one. Hureg takes a licking from that AoE damage. But that's it. Spitfire going to get out now. There's no point feeding extra ultimate percentage to Boston, who are already getting that engine running.
Kelix playing so far away, doesn't want to get hit with the EMP here. Now he's going to come in.
All right, Neko now coming with a Coalescence. Will this be enough to help the Uprising weather the storm? The Spitfire aren't taking no for an answer this time, and Note is out of the picture. A lot of that Coalescence was committed to trying to keep Gamsu alive, but it's worked out because now Gesture's down. It's a Winston advantage to the Boston Uprising. But Ocean trapped into next Tuesday, and the Uprising are hanging on here. Prophet can't get away. Has to blink out when it came off cooldown. Trying to kick Gamsu up, but Hureg's come on in. What a big Sombra play he's had so far in this round, but Striker spots him in the distance. He saw where he translocated to, but he can't follow him. He's got to stay on the point. They can't afford to give it to the London Spitfire. It's 4v4 on the point right now. But Mistakes is rejoining, so is Bidoshin. It's going to be 6-on-6 in just a second as Gamsu is trying to rejoin, but losing no Diva, no real tank presence right now for the Boston Uprising. This is not good. They have to get back into the fight, but it's a 4-man hack. Beautiful from Hureg now, and Prophet's going to clean them up. You can see Kelix trying to stay alive here, but he's going to get bumped around himself. Note has a self-destruct, and Gamsu died before he could use his Primal Rage, and the London Spitfire looking much happier now. Now, the overtime, it's Striker on the point. Note and Mistakes are waiting for their chance to get in.
It is still Boston who controls the point here. Note will use the self-destruct just because he's taking so much damage coming on in. London has still not flipped the point here, Mitch. It's going to be a Coalescence used
Prophet what?
by the Boston Uprising. Prophet just throws his pulse bomb into the wall there.
That could have been a big mistake, a costly one. The EMP comes in, and now it's London on the back foot. Somehow the Boston Uprising have turned this around. Bit by bit, they stalled out. They've done it! Unbelievable! How do you turn that kind of round around? What is this match? The Boston Uprising snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. Even they can't believe it, Matt.
And Hureg made such a sick play, Mitch. He gets onto the point and he hacks Note. That's why we didn't see the self-destruct to stall out on the first point. Then it's a 4-player EMP, and they're not able to win it still. That is such a tough loss there for London. A reverse sweep in favor of the Boston Uprising. I don't even know. There's no explanation for it.
This has been a case study in clutch stalling. The technique that you need to sort of apply not to lose them out when you're so far behind. Look at Striker, he can't believe it. The emotion and pressure that he went through. He had an incredible game.
He goes 39 limbs, 19 final blows, only 4 deaths. He plays unbelievable. I believe we got Zoe on the floor with an interview. Let's go to her.
We do indeed. Thank you so much. Please give it up for the Boston Uprising. Wow. Just wow. This game went the distance. You were down 2 maps going into that halftime, and then you're coming back and reverse sweeping your opponents. What adjustments had to be made, Note, for the second half?
I think a lot of the issues was communication. Everyone was kind of tired. I'm still sick right now. I think you can tell a little bit from my voice. So my comms weren't as loud as usual. We're having a lot of problems just getting everybody on the same target. And everybody just kind of grouped up at the end during the break. And we just kind of said, just play the game, just do your thing. Everyone do their jobs, and it worked out.
Yeah, it absolutely worked out for you guys. And I saw the emotions were boiling high. Striker having a few tears going on there on stage. What is going through your head when these things happen on this stage?
There's a lot of emotions. When things are going bad, like it's almost like depression, like everything's so quiet, sad. But when things like this happen, your heart rate spikes, adrenaline's going. I'm kind of shaking a bit right now. I don't know, it's incredible.